Welcome back to Fan Talk, everybody. It's the Weekly Wire, box office and news, and so let's just jump right into it, Derek.
Right.
Let's talk about the box office.
Hey, box office number one. No big surprise. We have Frozen 2.
Yep,
Killing it.
$127 million.
On track to break $1 billion.
Yeah,
I mean, we're guessing. I don't know. Disney just killing it left and right
this year.
Yeah.
Eight movies, I think. It might be more. I think it's 8 movies that are going to be over $1 billion for them.
Yeah, opening weekend, $127 million. Great.
Yes. Not too surprised about that, but
Well, it is a sequel, but it is Frozen.
it is Frozen. Yeah.
So number 2, Ford versus Ferrari, which we, again, projecting that's going to be a great movie.
Yeah, and in its second week, it's down 49%. But it's still
58 million.
Yeah, 58 million. It's
Yeah.
rolling right along, doing well. It's
Yeah.
we talked about previous weeks that it actually costs quite a bit to make, which happens when you're using real cars and they have to be historically correct.
Yeah.
So that was expensive, but it's on track to make its money.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. And again, it just depends on what's coming up around here. And there's only so much out there that's going to be these top 1, 2, 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So it should ride at number 2 for probably a couple more weeks.
Depending on what's else is coming out next week, which I don't think it's going to have a lot of competition. So moving right along.
Number 3, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which I'm impressed. I'm very glad it's doing as well as it is.
Yeah, I have to say, it's like I really like Mr. Rogers. I didn't watch it a lot growing up, but I respected the show when it was for television and the morals and things it taught. And I mean, let's just be honest. Tom Hanks, anything he touches, pretty much is gold.
Yeah.
So again, not too surprised the movie's doing as well as it is. 13.5 million. So
yeah, it's good. So number 4, we got 21 Bridges.
21 Bridges. Enough said.
Yeah, 21 Bridges were just under 10 million.
Yeah, a little bit under 10 million, so what it did.
Yeah. Number 5, which a little surprising, Midway.
Yeah. Still chugging right along. It's
history movie.
Yeah, it's historically correct. It's not as drama driven as say Pearl Harbor. That's the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah, and a really great movie. Actually went and saw it. It was fantastic. I think that when you look at war movies this year, it's going to be 1917. That's going to be the big one. But
projected so far, we'll see.
Yeah, but this movie is chugging right along. That's kind of round out the top 5. There was a couple honorable mentions because we were talking about Joker.
Still just killing it.
Top 10.
Number 8.
Yeah, it's number 8. It's still in the top 10. It's number 8. Yeah, and it's already crossed. It's already crossed $1 billion.
That's what I was going to ask. Has it crossed $1 billion?
It's crossed $1 billion. So I mean, at this point, are we counting?
I mean, so in case anyone was wondering, there will be a sequel. It doesn't matter if it's garbage. There's going to be a sequel.
Oh yeah.
So
they keep saying in the news, it's it's not. There's no sequel yet. They keep sticking that yet in there.
They just made so much money. They would be foolish not to make even garbage and put it out there because people are going to go watch it. So.
Yeah. So we can roll on into the news because we can talk about that for a minute because really that's the key is that even DC is talking now about doing more villain origin stories. Because the Joker's done so well, the villain origin stories is actually in the works. They're talking it out, which means it's not official yet. But I mean, we all knew when this did this well that we're going to probably see another Catwoman movie. That we're going to see.
That could be scary.
We're going to see a Poison Ivy movie. We might see a Riddler movie. We might see some of these other villains. Getting these long, stories of how they became who they are just because the Joker did so well. I don't think that means that these other characters are going to do as well, but, time will tell.
Yeah. So, other honorable mentions?
Other honorable mentions I will say is Parasite, which we briefly touched on several weeks ago when it first came out.
Foreign film. It's dubbed, or not dubbed, subtitled.
Subtitled, yeah.
Subtitled. 16? Number 16?
Number 16, great. Still rocking and rolling. I mean, you're talking about
99% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, foreign horror film at 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's still after all these weeks in the top 20, which to me that speaks volumes. I still haven't gotten a copy of this movie yet. I'm planning on getting around to that over hopefully this Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah.
So we'll give it a watch, and maybe we can do a review on it. But with our reviews, we're going to start getting some clips in here, down here in this area, for you guys to see some bits and pieces of it with this. Moving on to some news that we've been talking about commonly lately. It's been all about the Snyder Cut. Danny Elfman, which actually came in to do the score for the movie, has now voiced his opinion on the Snyder Cut, and his opinion is simply put that the Snyder Cut wasn't finished. And that's all he'll say. Yeah. He'll say, well, it wasn't finished. It wasn't a finished movie, and I don't think that fans really will enjoy it. Yet you have all these actors who've seen the Snyder Cut saying it's fantastic. So to me, I think this is really, I think it speaks volumes. I think what this says is that if we release the Snyder Cut and it's good, then the studio is going to catch a ton of crap over endorsing this, this version of the film versus this one, and it just turns it into one of these things of the big epic mistake that they made and the money they lost. It's going to hurt people's careers, and nobody wants that.
Wait for the DVD.
Yeah,
maybe. Think we're gonna get that?
Well, we have it on DVD, and there's no Snyder Cut. I think
that's what I mean. Are we gonna get that?
I think it would be intelligent just to release it, unless it's going to cost them money. Like we said, if there's CGI that wasn't finished, we'll never see it. No. Because it's just too expensive for them to risk not making any money back. But at this point, I think a lot of it's about saving face. I really think that's it, and I think that most of us should probably start putting a fork in it, because I don't think it's ever going to happen, honestly.
Depends on how unfinished it is.
Yeah, it really does, and it depends on if somebody gets a hold of it and leaks it. I mean, things like this happen all the time. But I think that, overall for DC, it couldn't really be a bad thing. I think career-wise, for a handful of people, it might hurt a career. Mm-hmm. But at this point, it's in the past. They've moved on. But Black Adam is going to be coming out soon. It's in the works. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to be playing Black Adam, which is the classic supervillain for Shazam, which came out last year. There's a lot of talks about wanting to have Black Adam fight against Superman, because there were some classic battles there, and having like a Superman Shazam movie where they're both fighting Black Adam, which again is going to be played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And there's some serious talk about Henry Cavill coming back to play Superman. Yeah. And when they asked them, the writers and the directors, everything about it, their comment was that Dwayne Johnson and Henry are friends. They like each other, and that's really all they're saying. So to me, that's saying that, hey, these guys like each other. He's already committed to this movie. There is a really good, strong chance that we might actually get him reprising that role of Superman.
Yeah, well, with the right actors and, the right star power, they could do well.
They could. And, I mean, everybody liked Cavill as Superman. Yeah. And I think most people really like Shazam. It was a DC hit, as far as I'm concerned. It's the first... other than Joker, it's the first one in a long time, I think, that was really funny and had a good story. I did really well. I enjoyed it. And, of course, some Star Wars news. The Rise of Skywalker is finished. It is complete.
Well, it is going to be finished.
Yeah, it's going to be out on the 20th, so it better be finished by now. But, no, he has officially come out and said, hey, movie is done.
So on the 21st, we'll all know if they did well or not.
If they did well or not, yes. There's a lot of little trailers out now. Some interesting stuff. We'll cover that in the weeks to come. Yeah. And, of course, we plan on doing some kind of big rollout for the movie. We'll probably maybe do a live podcast or something from the theater. We're still kind of working that all out, but hopefully it'll be something really cool. 1917. Something I didn't know, I was looking into the filming of this. They actually filmed it to where it seems like one continuous shot from beginning to end. Yeah. And so you're
not a lot of heavy cuts. Not a lot of heavy cuts.
So you're following these soldiers through the whole movie. And it's almost like you're really there. Supposedly it's like one continuous shot.
Blair Witch-esque, maybe a little bit.
Just a lot, like one continuous shot where you're not getting a lot of cut scenes from here, how they get from here to there. Like literally you're following them through the whole movie. It's very artistic and done on purpose. and they are actually releasing it in December, just for the sole purpose to squeeze it into this award season. So they're looking to capitalize on the award season. I mean, you've got a huge star-studded cast. I think that this movie is going to be the Saving Private Ryan of this generation. I think it's on track.
Yeah, it's on track. It has the ability, and I mean, who knows until we actually see it as to. But I can't see him messing it up real bad.
And
I just can't.
It's a lot of buzz, and it's a World War I movie. And you think that, we
don't get a lot of that.
We don't get a lot of that, and a lot of that is because it was such a violent war, and it was kind of a standstill war. There's a lot of fighting in the trenches.
So America wasn't really. I mean, we were in World War I. We weren't. We had a lot of our people volunteer. We flew with the British and a lot of stuff, but we weren't a major. We weren't really officially in World War I. So World War II was our first big step onto the playing field.
Yeah, it was. But I feel like World War I movies, it doesn't have to be about America to be a good movie. And,
no,
and that's what I think this is. This is about British soldiers. So I'm kind of excited to see it. And The Max. Another one, comic book movie. It was a really odd comic series that came out from Image years and years and years ago when I was younger and collecting. I actually remember Wizard price guide. You could get Max 1/2 if you subscribed to Wizard, and they're going to be making the movie. And it's kind of interesting enough that Channing Tatum is going to be the one who's producing it, and is probably going to be acting in it as well. So, I mean, Channing Tatum, I haven't really seen him step into this side of things where he's producing and maybe doing a little directing work and stuff. And it's kind of an interesting character to throw your cards in the basket on.
But with it not being, Superman or Batman or somebody like that, he can pull some liberties and make some adjustments without, I think, the fans really losing their mind.
Well, and it is interesting because the Max was a really kind of underground popular character for the time, and he kind of swept under the rug and disappeared. I mean, you haven't seen, there was a cartoon that came out for a very short time, but so they're doing the film, and so that's something that we should be seeing pretty soon. Start hearing more about. I think it's just now kind of starting out in the works, but something else that I was reading about that was talked about in 2018, and Danny DeVito has kind of been in the spotlight recently because he's doing Jumanji, is he said that he is still waiting for a script for Triplets, which is the sequel to Twins.
Should have done that 15 years ago.
I should have done that 20 years ago. Yeah. I mean, Twins came out. That was, in my opinion, maybe the most underrated Arnold Schwarzenegger film because it had a lot of it was funny, but it wasn't action packed. It was just kind of a funny film. Danny DeVito was in it, and there was never talk of a sequel, and then when there just wasn't a demand for it. And now everybody's getting nostalgic, and we're getting all these new Arnold and Rocky films and stuff like that. And Danny DeVito was like, hey, I would love to do this film with Arnold. I'm waiting on the script. Send me the script, and I'll do it.
Hey, writers out there, pay attention.
So I don't know. I think it could be a fun film. I mean, I can say that thus far,
it could be good or
really
absolutely
bad.
Horrible.
Oh, it might be absolutely horrible. I will say this: so far, most of these movies, I call them the out of retirement movies. Where you got Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, where they're just making all these films that were super popular in the 80s and early 90s, and they're trying to get this fan base to go back and watch them, but most of them have been kind of epic fails. I mean, this new Terminator movie, Dark Fate, God, don't keep me going on that one. It's just awful. And, just a lot, with the new Rambo movie,
Maybe not.
I just...
the last Rambo was good. I don't care, man. It was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the last one, the most recent one. I enjoyed it. He's killing cartel guys. I just feel like
you don't feel guilty about that.
No, I feel bad about how dark the movie was, though.
Oh, it was perfect.
The girl didn't have to die, man. I mean, enough bad crap happened to her, and it's he took her to a hospital instead of just driving with her in the car. I mean, there's some things I felt like the line was crossed. It was he didn't have to kill the girl. I mean, he could have like let the girl live, maybe. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's some things about that film that were a little, I think, too much. It wasn't horrible though. I mean, I still everybody's favorite
entertainment value for what it was. I mean, everybody's it's an action movie. Well, we got action, right?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that's what Simon always says too. He's like, "Hey, I enjoyed it. You know, Hobbs and Shaw, I enjoyed it. I ripped that movie apart." He's like, "But it was fun." I'm like, "All right," but. That's really it for the news. Not a whole lot going on this week. And of course, next week, we forgot to cover what's coming out in the box office real quick. Next week, kind of a slow week, so I don't see it affecting the top 10 next week a lot. There'll be a little bit of moving around. I don't think
Two Popes could be good.
Yeah, Two Popes is coming out. Queen and Slim. Knives Out is going to be big. That's the new one.
It's going to be probably
Ryan Johnson film. It's got old Chris Evans in it.
Yeah, probably the biggest, but I think really depends on how much they push some of this stuff, right? The marketing will play a big role on what people get out and go see.
Yeah, over this holiday weekend. Over this holiday weekend, though, I feel like it will affect the top 10, but not a lot. I think over this weekend, you got a family together. Not a lot, as many people are going to go see a Knives Out or
Galaxy Quest, maybe.
The Galaxy Quest documentary is a very limited release, though. But it is a documentary about Galaxy Quest. It is coming out. It was a very funny movie. Yeah. So, and I mean, I'm more interested in seeing that than any of the rest of those, honestly.
I think so. Yeah,
personally.
Maybe Two Popes. It actually looks like that might be kind of a closet, maybe not a hit, but better than maybe we think it will be.
Yeah. But as far as like the films everybody's going to be going to see this holiday weekend, I'm predicting a lot of Frozen. A lot of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, because you're going to have family that want to go out, and it's going to be a lot of
Mr. Rogers, Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, their timing on the releases are ideal.
Ideal, because those three films I think are still going to be in the top 3, because I just feel like there's the movies everybody's going to want to go watch as a family.
Yeah, I agree.
But we will see. Tell us what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring that bell. Support us so we can keep doing these videos for you. Thanks for watching Fan Talk, and see you next week.
All right.